What's your personal legend? Have you taken some time to figure it out yet? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast. I've spent the last 20 years studying, teaching, and coaching people to find their greatness and take their lives to the next level. Along the way, it's become evident that emotions are at the root of everybody's successes and failures. Worry and fear are the enemies, and it's time to forge the armor and earn the tools to overcome the two things that could single-handedly destroy your future. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm a life coach, a peak performance trainer, and I'm the emotions guy. It's time to take back control of how you feel, control of how you act, and control of how you experience life. It's time to become a lifer, a new breed of overachiever focused on living every minute to its fullest. We are responsible for how we feel, and no one and no thing can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and emotional education and intelligence is the key. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and I'm excited you joined me today because we're going to talk about your personal legend. Have you thought about that? I know it sounds so epic, right? When I say it, sometimes people get a little nervous and a little worried because it sounds so epic. But honestly, let me tell you, it is. It's pretty epic. Your life is pretty epic. You're here for a good reason. You are here. Well, I don't know why you're here. Why are you here? I'm not sure. But you're listening to this right now, and you found your way here because you needed to hear this message. What is your personal legend? You know, one of my favorite books that I recommend often is a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And this is one of the first places I heard about your personal legend and this idea that the main character, Santiago, goes off in search of his personal legend, maybe not in search, but to live his personal legend. And this was something that he was after. It's a great book. If you haven't read it, you should read it to your kids. If you're a kid, read it. Whatever, right? But this idea of seeking out your personal legend is really intriguing. A lot of times, I think through my upbringing, I was taught about having a mission statement. And I love that. It's great. Having a statement, a mission statement, something that you can attach to, something you can go, yeah, this is why I'm here. I was put on this planet to help inspire people, to help take people's lives to the next level. I was put on this earth to, you fill in the blank, right? And there's some really great ideas behind it. And each of us have our thing. I don't know what your thing is, but it is valuable to seek it out, to start looking for what it is that could change the course of your world forever. Now, let me interject an idea. So far, you've been on this path, you've been on this journey up to this point in your life, each of you. And the things that you've done, you might look back at and say to yourself, gosh, you know, that was a mess. And my question to you about your mess is, how old is it? Right? The age of your mess. How old is your mess? And now think about that mess age. Oh yeah, that's a message. In so many instances, the things that you've gone through, the journey you've been on, might seem like a mess to you, but it might actually be your mess age, right? The age of your mess could be inspiring to those around you, could be inspiring to your inner circle. It could be inspiring to your outer circle. It could be inspiring to those out there that are maybe in a similar situation that you were in and you have found your way out. In so many instances, the mess age that you have could be valuable to so many. And you wonder, okay, is this my personal legend? Is this just a piece of the path on my personal legend that I am going to share with other people? For years, I taught ballroom dancers. Obviously, you know that I've had a career as a professional ballroom dancer and danced on the circuit for many years. And I've been privileged to teach and train champions of all ages. And one of the things that I've constantly and consistently taught to each of these champions along the way is this idea that they should go out on the floor and share their soul. Now, what does that mean, share your soul? It literally is a shortcut version of saying, share your message. And for a dancer, sharing your message is speaking from the heart, speaking from the inside out, taking something you feel and utilizing your body to demonstrate that feeling, that emotion, that state of being, not the state of futuring or pasting, but the state of being that you are in at that moment. And in those moments, you are indeed sharing your soul. And for those of my students that have been successful at sharing their soul, they have been able to step up and indeed share their personal legend. That's not to say that your personal legend can't change. It's not to say that your personal legend can't adapt and grow. In fact, it will. And it'll adapt and it'll adjust along the way, because that's the beautiful nature of a journey, is that it should change. If it ends up to be just what you imagined, what about all that stuff you haven't been able to imagine that could actually be part of your journey? Your personal legend is calling you. Your personal legend is a beacon, a lighthouse in the night, and it's shining to you. But the farther you are away from that lighthouse, the more it just looks like a fuzzy light. The closer you get, the more narrow the beam becomes, and you can see clearer. That lighthouse can guide you on a journey, on a direction of where you want to head. But the lighthouse isn't necessarily where you're going. The lighthouse just is a beacon. It calls you to the shore. It lets you know where the rocks are, where the sand is, and where the port of call might be. But even when you get to the port, even when the ship comes sailing in, you don't just think to yourself, woohoo, I've arrived, now let's go back. No, you want to get off the ship. You want to experience the port. You want to keep living. This is huge. Your personal legend is calling you. And I know this is a little maybe esoteric for the day, but think about it this way. If you don't think about it, where are you headed? Are you just wandering around in circles? Are you wandering nowhere? Are you not even wandering? But think about your personal legend. What were you really here for? What are you really here for? What's your legacy going to be? That's a little bit far out in the future, but what is your special skill? What superpowers do you have to bring to the table? What can you do to really amp up your experience in this world, and also amp up the experience of those around you, whether it be somebody close or whether it be the masses that maybe you are lucky enough to influence? What's your personal legend? And then let me ask you one more question. What are you doing each day to keep on path towards your personal legend? Have you created the standard operating procedure that will keep you on course towards your personal legend? If you haven't, I want to help. Let me know. I'd love to help you to be able to stay on course. I help people all the time create their personal legend SOP, right? Their standard operating procedure to head towards that personal legend and continue to understand when it needs to adapt, when it needs to adjust or change or course correct, or when it needs to stay fast in the journey. What is your personal legend? Have you ever thought about writing it down? Have you thought to yourself, gosh, I was meant to do this? If you haven't, take a moment today, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes, to think about it. Think about what you are here to do. What are you sharing your soul with the world about? I'd love to hear what your personal legend is. Feel free to comment and let me know. I'm sure others would love to hear what you were put here for. What were you meant to do? What is your message that you're trying to share with everybody? I'd love to hear it. Please feel free to comment. And of course, if you know someone that needs to hear this message today, please share it with them. And if you have a moment, don't forget to like and subscribe, write some comments, rate and review us on iTunes if you're there. And we'd love to see your comments. We'd love to hear back from you that you're enjoying the content that we're producing. And until next time, keep searching for the magic for life. Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. All emotions are a choice. Sometimes doing our emotions doesn't seem like it's our choice, but it is. You have control. You are the captain of your ship, and you must learn how to be the best captain you can be. Let me show you how. Pick up your free copy of my new book, Every Minute, at everyminutebook.com.